Anyway, I'm heading home from church. I'm driving and doing my second video vlog, whatever it's called. So, keep my eyes on the road. Sorry if I have boogers. Anyway, swear. So, I've been reading this book called Toxic Charity by Robert Lupton, and it's pretty cool. I think, I don't necessarily agree with absolutely everything that he says, but the concepts in it are kind of rocking my world. I'm just like chewing on it a lot lately, just asking myself, you know, how we approach outreach and serving people. Are we really making a lasting impact, and how can we move from charity to more of empowering people and their dreams and things like that? And I don't think there's an easy black or white answer to it, but I think there's definitely some adjustments and mindsets that we can adopt from this book that I'm reading. And one of those is just like restoring dignity to people. So like when we go do giveaways and stuff, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's awesome. Like I will continue to do giveaways probably till I die. But just keeping in mind, how do we continue to inject chances to make people feel like they're important, and that we're not just like this church coming in and saying, you know, we're going to bless you and then see you next month. Like, we want to empower people, and it takes a lot of work. It's a lot harder to be that intentional than it does to just kind of jump in and do it sporadically, do things like service projects and stuff like that. So, something that was really cool that happened today, like I'm just sitting here kind of questioning a lot of things in church, and just thinking about this book and how do we move forward and just continue to be a blessing to people in a way that really makes a difference. And I went to the growth track at the Woodlawn campus at Highlands, and I get to be part of like the Step 4 team who helps people kind of like find how they're going to express themselves, like what's their design and what's the opportunity that they want to get plugged into in serving. And I met a woman from the community. I've actually known her for a while. Her name is Valeria, and she's a lady from the community. She comes to our cafe at the Dream Center every week. She's amazing. And I kind of like discovered her last summer when a mission team from Memphis Dream Center came in. One of the girls, shout out Krista, Matheny, you're awesome, knew sign language, and she was able to communicate to this woman, Valeria. None of us in our team could. No one at the Birmingham Dream Center really knew sign language on our outreach, but Krista happened to be there, connected with her, and now this woman's like coming to the Dream Center all the time, very involved in the cafe, and she went through the growth track and graduated today, and told me she had connected with some of our Miss Julie, our deaf ministry leader, and was like, I want to start a group for people who are deaf. Like, I want to do outings with them, I want to do activities and tell them that they can do it, that they're good enough, that they're awesome. And so like her dream is like exploding in front of my eyes, and I'm just like, that's amazing that we're able to take someone from that we used to do outreach towards, that we were serving the free coffee to, that we were knocking on her door. A mission team came and was able to discover her beauty. She's now being able to take her dream, that sparked hope in her, and now she's taking her dream and she's going to change her community from the inside out, and I think that's beautiful. So all that to say, like, I won't ever negate a free cup of coffee or giving out free stuff and knocking on people's doors and stuff like that. I think that that's important, and short-term missions, wonderful fruit can come from that. I think that's amazing. Sometimes we question, like, am I really making a difference? Is this that? And I think that there's definitely a way that we can focus a little bit more on being intentional in how we approach things, because I've definitely been in cases where I feel like I just robbed someone of their dignity because of the way that I approach something. And so I think there's an art to it, but I think that we just kind of all need to just open our eyes, like, how can we help not just be the one giving the fish, but letting people learn the art of fishing and then continuing to teach that to their peers. That's when empowerment happens. That's when dignity is celebrated. And if God calls people his treasures, then it's definitely our job to treat those people with complete dignity and just care that comes from humility, and like, oh my gosh, you are the most valuable thing in existence, because God made you. You're his treasure, and I'm going to do all I can to not worship you, but give you that honor that you deserve no matter where you come from, because there's so much potential. We have to recognize the gifts that people have, not just I have something to give you because you're in need, but you have potential inside of you. This community has potential. Let's stop looking at where the problems and where the needs, where the deficiencies, but look at the potential instead, and how can we help work on that potential and help that come to life rather than reacting to the problem. That's when causes blow up. Like, I think sometimes we get so caught up in the trend of, oh, human trafficking, like, let's raise awareness, let's write an X on our hands, and that's awesome, and I don't have a problem with that either, but let's start looking like more at the holistic side of it and the people and as individuals. And yeah, there's issues that have to be like addressed kind of like in the big picture, but at the same time I think we can't get caught up in just these big causes. We have to be like, well, how can I be a better friend? How can I help people be better individuals? If this person's dealing with X amount of things, okay, I'm not gonna say I gotta make a stop at the store to go pick up, just like, I'm not gonna, what is that? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to say, we can't lump people in based on their problems. Like, I have an addict, I have a prostitute, and I have whatever else, someone who's lame. Like, one person can be all these different things and have to be hit up by all these different ministries, and I think there's a place for that. But let's look at people as very complex things, souls who just need someone to look inside of them and say, I'm not going to identify you by your issues, I'm going to identify you by what I see inside of you and work with that. So, long story, I'm still developing thoughts, I'm just kind of like babbling because I think as I go, but it's definitely a conversation of how do we keep being intentional to let people find the most value in what we do as far as serving and outreach goes. So, video blog number 2. And I did not wreck. Amen. Thanks, Jesus.